Hi, good afternoon, everyone. We're so sorry for starting a little bit later than the scheduled time, but we'll start right away. My name is Gloria Ibaka, and I'll be moderating this landmark webinar that has been put together by United Academy and tagged Tech for Kids. I'd like to heartily welcome everyone, our finest panelists, see you already, the parents, management, and staff of United Academy, and other participants. You're very much welcome, and we hope that you have a swell time today. It is clear that technology has come to stay, and our world is more digitally driven. I think that's a good thing. But then sometimes we get worried about the effects of technology, especially on kids. We know that technology has a way of empowering kids to relate better with others, connect better, find better ways to have fun and to engage, even in the classroom and when they get outside. But you also agree with me that children who are tech savvy can do better and be more prepared for the workforce, which is going to be more digitally predominant. In the US, with all of the parents worry that parenting has become more difficult lately as a result of the introduction of technology. So they get worried about the screen time exposure for their kids, how heavy is it to their development. They get worried, I beg your pardon. So the effects and dangers of early exposure to technology. And that is why we're having this webinar this afternoon. We have a panelists on ground. Many of these issues and more will be addressed. And I know that we will take something meaningful out of this place. So the Tech for Kids program is an initiative that has been created to give kids the opportunity to explore the possibilities in the tech world and also to harness their skills towards becoming creators of technology and not just end users. At this juncture, I'd like to introduce our panelists. We have Mrs. Omobola Olabibibe. She is an exceptional educationist, entrepreneur, social impact advocate, and author as an educationist. She has a distinguished career in education management and operations both in the UK and Nigeria. She is an alumnus of the University of Lagos, the University of Wales, and has completed the leadership program of the SET Business School at Oxford University, UK. Our core focus is the development of quality and professional standards of education and its impact on the Nigerian child. She is a second-generation school owner and is currently the learning leader and director at Ikeja Day School, IDS, delivering quality and data-driven education using an affordable, accessible, and acceptable model in early years and primary education in Lagos, Nigeria. As a social impact advocate, she is making a difference with her project initiatives under the auspices of Yeye Modupe Alakija Foundation, tagged at iProjects. As an author, her books including Building Actionable Difference, 44-40 Ratio, and her latest book, Mina's Diaries, a series of books for adolescent girls centered around the 12 pillars that make up a total girl child. Omobola Olabibibe is an awesome networker. She is one who loves and seeks out knowledge. She is a certified Microsoft educator and a mentee at the Cherry Blair Foundation. She continues to be a voice within and outside of the education sphere while contributing at volunteering as a teen mentor in a host of NGOs. We welcome you and we are glad to have you in our midst. Our second panelist, Madam Joy Bewaji. Madam Joy Bewaji is a creative brand copywriter, content writer, screenwriter, brand and communications expert. She comes with a lot of experience in branding celebrities, business executives, and startups. She is a seasoned screenwriter in Nollywood, Africa's biggest movie industry, and her movies include City Crimes Love Potion, 7.5 Dates, Mimi, Rolly and Zara, Love Me Some More, stage plays. She is also the brand and marketing consultant for Advantage Health Africa, one of the top 20 African company 2022. So ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Madam Joy Bewaji and Mrs. Omobola Olawibibe. Thank you. At this point, I'd like the panelists to give their opening remarks on the subject matter of the day. We'll have Mrs. Omobola Olawibibe go first. Thank you.
Gloria, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, United Network Fund, for inviting me to this event. So I'll start off with great introduction there, Gloria. So I'll start off with a story I read online about some girls in Lagos, Nigeria. Sorry, am I supposed to see myself? Because I can't see anybody. Gloria?
Ma'am, I can hear you. I can see you. Can you see me?
Please, can you put on your video? It helps me because it's like it's blank here.
You can see
It's
me.
blank.
Can you see
I can
me?
see you now. Yes, I can see you now. So please put
Oh,
it on.
okay.
It gives me that level of that there's somebody in that space. Your video is off. Okay, so I'll start off with the story of a young lady. She was 15 years old then. Her name is Adebola. She attended, I think, Doragos Academy in Lagos, and she actually heard a story of a family of 5 that died due to carbon monoxide inhalation and died in their sleep, and thought to herself, how could this happen? And why should this be happening? And she thought to herself, must they always use petrol to power the generator? And she spoke to her chemistry teacher about it. And no, first of all, spoke to her friends. She had 3 other friends, and she called them and spoke to them about it. That this is what has happened. What can we do to solve this problem? They spoke to their chemistry teacher. They came up with a plan and devised a plan and decided to use urine as to power a generator. They failed the very first time that they tried to do everything that they've been doing all along. They failed the very first time. The second time around, but the girl said something. She said, determination is our watchword. They went back the second time and did it and excelled at it. And they actually powered on the generator. And then urine was converted to water vapor to power the generator. One thing that they got from that was that they said, at the end of the day, that is not poisonous to the earth and it is safe for everybody around them. They looked for a problem. There was a problem and they solved it. Where am I going with this, my story? It says that I watched this video television then. I actually watched it on YouTube again. Why am I saying this story? Technology. The girls used research and found out what they could use. They used technology to get the result that they wanted. They had a problem. So for me, I'm trying to say here that technology is a solution to a lot of problems. It's a tool that can be used as a solution to a lot of the problems that we have these days. And therefore, in our subtopic, there's something that says 21st century schools. Along the line, the girls applied the 21st. The video is on YouTube, so everybody can It's free to watch it. 21st century skills. There was collaboration, there was critical thinking and innovation there was problem solving, there was self-regulation. The 21st century skills that people are need. How do we get our children to begin to use this and begin to think outside the box in a place, even when there is no box, to become solution providers using technology, and also guide our parents to think outside and look at other ways and not focus on the dangers of technology, but the positives of technology and how it can be used to solve the problems in our country, Nigeria, and in our continent, Africa, and that will translate to the rest of the world. So that will be my opening statement for now. Thank you, Gloria.
Very much for that beautiful opening statement. Technology is indeed a solution to many of the world's problems. We will now have Madam Joy Bewaji. Thank you. Madam Joy Bewaji, can we please have you make your opening statement?
Hello. Can anyone hear me?
Clear, ma'am.
I can't see anybody. I didn't see the Mrs. Mobala when she was talking, so I don't know if anyone can see me.
Your video is not active. The video is not active. I don't know if you can see me.
And I can't see anybody. I just said I didn't see anybody.
Okay.
And I can't even access my video.
Oh, wow. Okay, can you see the video icon just below the screen?
I can see it. I said I can't access it. It's not accessible. It's not connecting. It doesn't give me the option to click on it for it to actually work. So I guess I'll just carry on like that.
That should be as a result of reception.
Sorry, what did you say?
I think that should be as a result of poor network reception.
Anyway, yeah, okay.
So you can please go ahead and let's hope that the network permits you to activate the video later.
All right. I think I've always been intrigued by billionaires. I've always been intrigued by people who change the world, people, Elon Musk, people who do crazy things, and just people who are not afraid. I'm always intrigued by people who grab the world in their palms and are able to just live beyond comprehension. And I feel our upbringing in my own generation, I don't think a lot of us had the opportunity to be raised by people who like would allow us to dream and imagine as far as we could. I'm not saying there were no parents like that, but most parents were very careful. There was religion, or there is religion, there's culture and all of those things, and marriage, and just conventional dreams. And I've always been very intrigued by people who are very unconventional, very rebellious when it comes to who they are and what they believe they deserve in the world. And I promised myself, well, not exactly promise. I think after I had kids, I would look at them and I would try and make them way better than anything they can imagine that they can ever be. And for me, it had to be technology. It just had to be. I'm not into technology. I'm a writer and a brand expert, but I've been obsessed with the idea of children and technology. I feel that is the magic solution to anything, so I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with the idea of especially girls, because women don't always get the opportunities they want. We have societies where the girl child has to get married, and they start talking about marriage since she's as young as 5 years old, and I and all of those things. I am not a fan of those kind of conversations. I believe there should be more to a girl child. And when I was fully aware of what technology could do, it just had to be it for my girls. And so I started having, first of all, I introduced them to reading a lot. I think they've read over 1,000 books, probably 2,000 actually. So they read to expand their imagination and help them with communication, because I feel like if you can't express yourself, you would be denying yourself 50% of a beautiful life. Expression is very important. So I wanted them to have that. And when they were grounded in all of that and their academics, of course, I decided to introduce them to technology. So having a daughter at 17 be a data scientist, for me, is my biggest flex, because it just had to be. I didn't know the capacity of what she could achieve. I just introduced her to data science, got her the lecturers online, and to see her pass Microsoft exams. She's a Microsoft associate and she's 17. So to see her pass Microsoft exams so easily, it was just a reminder of the good work that I have done, even if I say so myself. So to see the reality for me is, I think for me, the greatest achievement is for the child, for her to see for a fact that all of the things my mother has been saying in the last 10 years is actually true, So to get all these companies wanting to employ her and not knowing she's 17, and her seeing all her emails blowing up and just the opportunities, she would look at me like, you were right. I'm like, of course I'm right. So for me, technology is it. So I don't play with two things: children and technology. I respect kids, because I've seen adults struggle to pass my Excel and SQL and and Python, and to see children, I feel technology is really for kids, because it's just like swimming. They always tell you, if you want to learn how to be a good swimmer, you have to learn when you're 3 years old or 4 years old. If you're older, it gets harder. So if we begin to introduce our children to technology, especially in Africa, because I think we really do need it, if we focus more on, improving their skills in technology, I think we can change Africa, as it were. I think it's not in our generation where we used to say, oh, the children are the future of tomorrow. But we didn't get the opportunity per se to be leaders in changing the narrative in Africa. But our kids could just be this Gen Z. I respect them because they are very, very crazy powerful people. So if you give a Gen Z technology with all of the energy and youth and possibilities that they have and the exposure that they have, I think that is the only solution to Africa. So I will go anywhere, I will speak anywhere as long as it is about children and technology. Thank you.
Wow, very much. Thank you for that beautiful opening statement also. It's intriguing to know that your daughter is doing a lot already, even as a 17-year-old girl. Very intriguing. And I must commend you for that. You've done so well. So well done. At this point, I'd like us to entertain some questions that will steer the discussion for this afternoon subject. We have some questions that I would like our panelists to do justice to in order to build up insights for our participants. Now, our first question will go to Mrs. Omobola Olabibe. Ma, please, would like to know who a child is. We're talking about tech for kids. I think it's important that we also have an understanding of who exactly is a kid, who is a child, especially based on international conventions and laws. So, ma'am, you have the floor.
Okay, it's a very, very short answer. It's just simply any person under the age of 18 is considered a child according to the international convention. I know some other countries use 16 as a yardstick for adults, but according to them, it's anybody, male, female, whatever gender they call themselves these days, under the age of 18 is considered a child.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. So does this exclude those who are above 18 already? Do we limit the exposure and use of technology to those who are just below 18? Does it mean they are able to use it?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, anybody can be a child at any point in time, but according to, there's some form of child in everybody, but according to that convention, it says any child under the age of 18, and anybody can start the use of tech at any age. It doesn't matter. The age is not a hindrance at this point or a criteria right now, but just in the scope of what we are having here today, and according to the convention, if a child is anybody under the age of 18.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So it means that every other person who is above 18 has hope. They can start learning. Anytime you decide to start learning, that's when you become a child at learning. So thank you very much, Ma. We would like Madam Joy Bewaji to tell us why we need to introduce our kids to tech. Why do we need to introduce our kids to tech? And what is the appropriate age to start exposing them to the world? Thank you.
Okay, can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you.
Okay, so the appropriate age to introduce a child. I first of all, I would like to say that beyond the conventional definition of child, I feel like a child is something that you create. You have an opportunity to be God if you have a child. It's one of the biggest opportunities you get from God himself. I feel like you look at a child, a 6-month-old child, that child can be anything in the world. It all depends on you. And that is why it's so sad when, we are confronted with poor parenting. Because when you look at your 1-year-old child, if you are a good creator like God, that child can be anything. You can decide that, this child, this 6-month-old child that is crawling and drooling, this 1-year-old child, I am going to make that child a billionaire and he's going to change the world. And if you are truly a creator, you can do it. So it's a beautiful position. I think parenting is one of the most beautiful things to be. You are God. You have the opportunity to be God, to create another person. Because if you look at a child, a successful, maybe if you look at a 15-year-old that is doing so well in school, that child could have tilted anywhere. You can see that if a child is doing well, it is parenting, it is good parenting. So I feel we need to pay attention to our children. It's one of the biggest problems in Africa The way we talk to them, we have no respect for children. We talk to them, we curse them. We are always so, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, you should respect. I mean, it's so funny how we grew up where our parents would give so much respect to an outsider, an older person. But at home, you don't respect the children. But I don't know what kind of culture tells us not to respect children. If you take care of a child, that child can change, changing your own life is even a very small dream. That child can change the world. You have an opportunity. You have an opportunity to make that human being. It's just like Zuckerberg. Like, do you know what that man has done? Bringing 2 billion people together. It's incredible, And he was once a 1-year-old child. He could have gone anywhere. Of course, there's still the responsibility of the child himself to decide to go that route. But 99% of the time, if the parenting is wrong, if the parenting is mediocre, the result will show. So I would really ask that as parents, let's take care of our children and our words. If you want your child to be the richest person, I am very particular about money. I know it has been bastardized. It has been made to seem like this evil, but money is very important in solving even world issues. If your child has control over money, along with having emotional intelligence and also, common intelligence, that child can save the world, can save you, save himself, save the world. So the best thing is teach the child about money, how to relate with money, how to engage money, how to use money. But they need to understand money so that nobody comes into their life and bedazzle or dazzle them with money. If they understand the power of money and they understand where money stands and they have sense, everything is going to be good. And then there's technology. So I feel like the importance of technology cannot be, there's nothing I can say that truly can fully capture the beauty of it. I believe, like I said earlier, that the solution to African problems is children and technology. That's the solution. Adults are stuck in their ways. I mean, go online, go on social media and try and go on social media and see the way they engage themselves in conversation. It's horrible. It's just go to comment sections on blogs and just see how they feel of the average Nigerian and how we think. It's worrisome that we should do better with children before they are fully involved in social media. I think we should do better with them. We should make them more quality human beings who see the future of Africa beyond themselves, beyond their own needs, beyond their own family needs, but like a full picture of what this continent can be. Everyone is shutting their doors. Dubai is where I go to relax, so it's just sad that, you go online and the next thing, like, Nigerians are not allowed in Dubai. We are not, they don't rate us anywhere in the world. And it's just the fact that we are not having these conversations in parts that truly matter. It's really sad. Like everybody seems to be, we carry your green passport, and it's a problem. It's a problem. It's everywhere. It's in the air. The fact that you guys, you're not doing anything there. So why should we respect you? And then we go to places like Dubai that looks like something out of a glossy magazine, and we take our ratchetness there and we try to destroy them. And then when you try to bring up this conversation, people are like, hey, it's not everybody. Yeah, but we are if you have like 300 million people, are we 300 or 250 or 150? Anyway, if you have all of these millions of people and they're just 10% or even just 5% is on the other side of the problem, it's a large number to worry about. So for me, I won't say I've given up on adults. I would just say that I really want to invest in children. I don't see how all of these adults that are always complaining, never get along, can't even like comprehension. Oh my God, comprehension is a problem. I don't see how we're going to save ourselves at 35, 45, 65. But we can save this country, we can save this continent by protecting our children from whatever biases we have and introducing them to what truly matters: technology, comprehension, understanding your environment, emotional intelligence. So for me, um, everything about what we can become in another 10 to 20 years to 30 years to 50 years is really about what we can do with our children now. And that is why it was very shocking to me when my daughter, I have two girls, so when my first daughter finished secondary school last year, and I said, okay, she passed her by a jam excellently, but I said, you're not going to go to school. You're going to do a gap year. I have always been obsessed with the idea of gap year. And I said, you're going to do gap year and you're going to do tech. And she was like, oh, I said, yeah, because I actually do think you can achieve so much more in 1 year than you have achieved 6 years in school. She was the head prefect, so she did achieve a lot. So introducing her to tech after secondary school was very important for the kind of child that I wanted her to be, the African child that I really wanted her to be. Slightly different from how we were raised, different from the conversations in the air. Think differently, be different, be respectful, have emotional intelligence, but think differently. Be very different from these people. Be very unconventional. Be unafraid. Because I am really afraid of what Africa is going to be like in 20 years if we don't begin to have solutions. If we only just rely on prayers, I really worry about what we can be. I worry about 2023. I worry about Africa and Nigeria, especially all the time. Because there's just nowhere. I've been around, I've been everywhere, but you just never, it's just not like when you are in Africa where you're all Black and it's home. It's just not the same. So it's just a very passionate thing for me to see that our children can just be the solution. And that is why I always try to tell parents, be respectful to these children. They are going to change our world. They are the only ones that can change Africa. It's not you and I, not these people that we have conversations with all the time. I mean, Nigerians go abroad, get all of these big degrees, and nothing, it doesn't apply any way, anywhere in our life. It has to go beyond that at some point, and I feel our children will make that possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Everadi. I can feel the passion with which you talked about the poor state of things in Nigeria and in Africa at large. That's why we're having this discourse today, because we know that from this place, we take meaningful things home that will help us make informed decisions, and we begin to change the narrative. So thank you, Madam Joy. I'd like Madam Omobola Olabibipe to give us insights on what the possibilities of the tech world is for a child. We've heard that from your opening statements and subsequent statements. Technology seems to be the only solution, or maybe not the only solution, but a major solution to most of the problems in the world. So what are the possibilities in the tech world? What are the possibilities our children can explore in order to begin to solve most of our problems? Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much, Laura. Okay, so to start off, you asked, you said technology is the solution. It is part of the solution. Actually, a tool that can be used as one of the solutions to part of the problems of the world. And the use of technology, the possibilities are simply endless. If I was to say, oh, this is what technology is going to become, it will be a slap on my face. And for us to even go back 10 years ago to think that we could even have, this, the world could become as small as it is. So think about 5 years' time and looking at COVID, COVID just brought us like 10 years ahead of time. So what we can have, I can't say it is beyond me. The possibilities are endless. However, I'm going to go into what we are using technology to do today. There's a young girl in Lagos here. I think she was about 12 years old then. She was attending Vivian Fowler. She created an app used to locate children. She was in school. She was 12 years old. We have children that are using machine learning to find things for drugs, drug discovery, disease discovery. There's AI, that's artificial intelligence, used for Alzheimer's disease. There's a young boy in Sierra Leone. He's now in Canada right now. His name is Kelvin Doe. He used scraps to create a radio station in his country before he was found by MIT. And they took him there. We have 14, 15-year-olds doing wonderful, amazing things using tech, using it to find solutions to problems that we have within Nigeria, beyond Nigeria. There are people using AI for music. Animation is being used everywhere by children. So I'm not even talking about adults here. I'm talking about children. And this is due to the level of exposure that they have and what they can become. We have children that are using 3D animations to do wonderful things. Advertisements that we see these days, we see what children are doing. We see children doing apps. We see children becoming billionaires, setting their families free from the use of technology. And of course, people always look at technology from the aspect of internet. Technology is bigger than that. It's wider than that. There's robotics, there's coding, there's animation, there's machine learning, there's augmented reality, there's AI, too many things that we have under technology. So for me, I will just leave it there right now. That is the scope to what we have now of what people are doing and how children are beginning to change the world, setting things free. And the most important thing that they are doing right now is that these children are having fun doing what they are doing. The young girl, Tommy Singh from Vivian Fowler, she said something. She said when she's bored, she creates a website. It's a hobby for her to create apps. I think that is what technology is doing to our children today. And for those that are able to use it and harness it and use it positively, the world is a stepping stone to the greatness that they can have. I hope I've answered your question, Gloria.
You have, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for the answer. It's a beautiful one. Worthy of note is that technology is not limited to just the internet. It made us to understand that it's quite broad, rather than what we actually think it is. A whole lot of aspects of it that needs to be explored. So thank you for that beautiful response. We'll take another question. It's natural for parents to worry about their kids accessing inappropriate online content. And they also worry about the effect of screen time on the healthy development of their children. 71% of parents worldwide believe that exposure to technology has potentially harmful results than good results for their kids. So this afternoon, I know my audience will want to know how they can curb the excesses of exposure to technology for their kids. Do we deny them access as a protective measure? Definitely no. Okay, So how do we curb the excesses of early exposure or total exposure to technology? Madam Joy Bewaji. Thank you, ma'am.
What's the question, please?
Okay, we'd like to know how we can curb the excesses of exposure to technology for kids.
The excesses, or you mean like social media? Because I don't know about excesses for technology. Are you saying the access to the internet?
Yes, access to the internet, because
Okay, yeah, that's a broader. Yeah, okay, I get it. So from my own parenting style is very simple. I think I took a leaf from my own parents. I remember when I was growing up, my father and my mom, they take alcohol, they take beer. So there was always beer in the fridge, right? And even when my dad, when he would want to take beer, he would put a sip in my mouth, and beer was just a regular thing in the home. I didn't see any big deal. I didn't like it. So when he gave me the sip, I would just frown and spit it out or something, and they'll all laugh and something like that. So for me, beer wasn't a problem. It wasn't a something I had to want. It was always there. You open the fridge, there's always beer. So when I got to to higher institution, and I realized that people were sneaking in alcohol, like it was such a big deal to leave the house so that they left home to come to school to come.
hello, Mama,
Can you hear me? I don't know.
We lost you.
Can you hear me? Hello?
We lost you. Sorry. I can hear you now.
Hello? But can you? Okay, because this is internet. This network is all right. So I was talking about what was available in the house, alcohol in my home. So when I got to higher institution, it was really shocking to me to see that alcohol was a big deal for young people, that they were hiding it. They were so excited to be away from home because they wanted to drink. It wasn't my reality at all because it was all over the house and I never touched it. So I decided kind of to be influenced by that parenting style. So I empower my children with phones, and I make it a habit not to, and I'm not saying anybody should, I don't think anybody should follow my own parenting style. Every adult would know the best thing for their own child. Can you hear me, please?
You can.
Hello?
We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, sorry, I feel like I'm breaking. So for me, I empower a child with the phone. I sit down with that child. I explain first of all, I did not empower them for a very long time. My kids were probably the last set of children that had their personal phones. All their cousins and all of that were having phones, and I did not budge at all. I decided to give them phones when they were in SS2, I think, or SS3. They went to boarding school, so there was even no points for phones. The phones were available for the holidays. And when they had access to phones, I would tell them categorically, these are the things you should not get involved in. Don't expose yourself to pornography. It is addictive. It will destroy you. You're going to be an adult and you can have sex with intention. I have those conversations. Don't go to this. Don't get addicted to this. Don't do that. Because I realize that if you put anything there to stop them from accessing, children will get to whatever they will get to. You can't stop them. Children will get it. If they want it, they will find it. They will find a way to get it. They will be exposed to it. And I knew that for a fact. There's so many instances that online in people's lives that will tell you that if a child wants something, if a child wants to be exposed to something, they will be. It doesn't mean you will not put an eye on the child, of course, but I am more interested in having that conversation, telling them why they shouldn't. so that they make informed choices for themselves. They have to do it for themselves, right? I also have a very interesting story about the academics in school. When they were very young, around like 5, I was always screaming when I would be doing their homework, and I didn't want that kind of relationship with my children. I just didn't like what I become when it was time for homework. I complained about the counseling, complain about this. I didn't like it. I thought I was becoming this monster, and I didn't want that kind of relationship. And I told them, and I remember sitting down with them and saying, you know what, I am, like I said, please, I am not trying to say this is the best way to parent. This is my way. It works for me. You would look into your home, your child, and find what works for you. So I'm just sharing a story that worked for me. So I called my kids and said, you know what, I am not going to be fully involved in your homework. I am going to trust that you know what you're doing, because I am more interested in having a healthy relationship with my children than being obsessed with you passing your exams. I want you to pass, but I don't want to become this person just because I want you to pass. I want to trust that you have it. I want you to want it for yourself. I want you to want success, not because you're going to make mommy happy, but because you can see your future. So that is my way of parenting, where I give them the power. I give them all the power. I said, you see, because I realize, I know how much I fought to get 100% of my power back from family, from society, from culture, from religion. I know how much I fought to get 100% back. Not 1% is with anybody. So I wanted that for my children. There is a kind of peace you have when you know that it is you and God. Nobody else. You don't seek validation from anybody else. Not that you don't respect them, but their opinions do not form who you are. It's very important for girls especially to understand that. Now, so I make them see, that, you know, this is the future that they should have. So when I empower you with a phone, I'm not going to be going around looking at who you're doing. I'm trying to put this, trying to put that to stop you from getting into sites when I know for a fact you will still get it. Because this Gen Z, they are smarter than we are when it comes to technology. I will sit you down and say, listen, you have, and these are teenagers, they're 17 and 15. So maybe you would apply a different method to 10-year-olds and 8-year-olds and 12-year-olds. I did not expose my children to phones at that age. So as teenagers, I will tell them, I know they have seen this thing probably in school. Children will see what children will see. But I will tell you, I will always sit down and have that conversation with you. Listen, do not be invested in this kind of content. It will destroy you. It is addictive. It is this. It is that. We can Google together to see certain stories that would validate my points and all of that. So that is how I really like to make people see for themselves what they can become if they follow a certain path. Because if we do it for our parents, it's a burden. It's a burden. Yes, you will eventually do something because you love your parents, but you are not going to live your life fully just because mommy wants you to be this and daddy wants you to be that. You're going to do it because you want to be rich. You want to be a tech genius. You want to travel the world. You want to change Africa. You have to want it desperately. It will not be because mommy said I should go and learn data. Nah, it will not be. It is not powerful enough. It is not sustainable. And that is why people will learn, people will go to school and read accounting and come out and be something else. I mean, I don't have statistics, but if I do Jaguda statistics, I probably think like 80% of Nigerians are doing exactly something totally different from what they read, because they did it for other people, not for themselves. And you know what it is? You are lost for decades before you find yourself, you are in your 50s and your life is gone. You understand? So I am not an obsessive parent. I know that children will fail like adults fail. I don't focus too much on certain things that I'm a parent, so I know other parents. I am not obsessed with that. I'm not focusing too much on the things that people focus on. I have a different direction when I think of the kind of human being I want my children to be. So if the internet gives you 80% good, that 20% bad, just have a conversation with them. That's how I see it. It's more good than bad. So the bad, have a conversation with them and tell them the demerits of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. That was a very nice one. Thank you. We have questions dropping already in the chat. So I'll just take the question. So if you have more questions, kindly drop them in the chat, or you can use the raise hand icon so I can call you up to take your question. This particular question is directed at Madam Joy. This person wants to know, how do you structure the gap year after secondary school to know the courses and certifications the child should take? I think we can quickly attend to this question. How do you structure the gap year after secondary school to know the courses and certifications the child should take? That's a question for you, Madam Joy.
Okay. How do I structure? I mean, we had to sit down and talk about what do we really want to do. We asked questions. Like I said, I don't have any tech experience at all. I just know that tech is everything. So the first thing, I know I wanted my child to rest for gap year. There was something I really enjoyed when I watched Richard. Richard is the movie about Venus Williams. There was something about the father that I really liked, and I told my children to watch it too. So they watched it on the plane. I'd watched it a long time. So, and we had a conversation about it. So I like the fact that, you know, they would be training because they would have this event to go to, but the father will pull them out in the middle of the training and say, you know what, I want to take my kids to Disney World. And it used to frustrate the coach, like, but they are training. I'm like, well, they are kids. They want to go to Disney World, you know, and I like that because it allows them to be children. I've always had a problem with, I don't know, is it Chinese people? Are they Chinese or Asian? I don't know. How they train their kids, like they are so hard on them. I have a problem with that. I feel there has to be some kind of balance. I think Americans are too liberal, but I think there has to be some balance. So for me, I would sit down with the child and let the child know, what do you really want to do this gap year? Do you just want us to just travel? Do you want to engage in something? So we would have that back and forth, and they'll be like, okay, I'm not really sure. So we tried French. We wanted to do French. We changed our minds. We wanted to do, I took her, so we went driving around Lekki, and we were looking for different types of things that would interest her. We went to this beautician place where they learn how to do facials and all of that. She said she wasn't interested in any of those beauty things. And then finally, I had a conversation with a friend who is a product manager, and she sold the entire idea of data science to us. So it was now my duty to come back home to convince my child to see that she needs this more than anything else, and she must need it for herself, not for me. And so that's it. We had that conversation, and then I went looking around for the right coach or coaches to do it. Now, I want to say something here, because it was really wild for me. It was a wild realization to see that it wasn't so easy to get teachers for tech for my child, and it wasn't as easy as, you know, the conventional education. And we would sit down, the two of us would sit down, like, this is so hard to find. And I would go online and I would keep searching, and sometimes you go to a certain structure and they'll tell you, oh, we don't do this for children, we don't give this service for kids, we don't give this skill. And I literally had to pick people, you know, randomly that have skills in different things to teach. So for me, the first thing I thought when she was doing this, I said, you have to be a facilitator. You have to give back your skills to children, because see how hard it was for us to gather all of these people to teach you the right thing. And I didn't know if they were teaching her the right thing or not. So that was why it was important for me for her to sit for Microsoft exams, because that is the only way I can know for a fact that they are teaching the right thing. When she passed Microsoft exams to become a Microsoft associate. So yeah, for the gap year, have a conversation with your child, know what their interests are. If their interests, you feel their interests are not strong enough or good enough, whatever you think they should do, sit down with them respectfully and let them buy into it. Market it to them. Market it as if you're marketing it to a client. They have to see it for themselves. They don't have to do it for you. It's their life. They have to envisage it. That is the only way they can enjoy it and do it well and keep at it for the long term, because they do it for themselves. They can see the future and imagine it. So for me, I don't know if I answered your question, but that was how I structured it, where first of all, I opened it up to know what she liked. We moved around, we drove around to find anything that interests us until we landed on tech, and she bought into the vision, and that was it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That was a very satisfactory response. We'll take a final question in the chat, and this is directed at Mrs. Omobola Olawibigbe. This person wants to know what's the dichotomy between knowing how to use IT gadgets and having proper IT skills. According to him, some seem to mix the two. So he wants to know what the dichotomy is between knowing how to use IT gadgets and having proper IT skills. You have a floor, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, thank you for that question. So, first and foremost, we need to first of all know what IT gadgets and what IT skills are. It's not to school anybody, but once we know what those things are, we are able to know that there's a clear difference and they are not things that are meant to be used interchangeably in any way. So IT gadgets include our phones, our fax machines, ATM machines, radios, mobile telephones, normal telephones. These are devices that we use. But IT skills are totally different ways by which we can create something that is new. So these things are the things that are going on behind these things. So we have the cyber securities, we have the machine learning, there's the programming, there's the data analysis, there's the systems, and there's the security. And you see, those are the things that are going on in the background. So we cannot use them interchangeably. So if anybody is using that interchangeably, it's just because there's a definition gap. That is why I went back to defining or knowing exactly what it is. So using all these things, how the ATM machine works, these are IT skills behind it. How the mobile phone works, these are the IT skills that are behind them. So that is the contrast there. These are devices, but at the back of the devices, there are some things that are running on the back. Those are the IT skills that people have or people use to get these things up and running.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure the person who asked the question has gotten a very satisfactory answer. So thank you very much for the answers you've given to the several questions. Thank you. It has increased our insights and we will appreciate them. I'd like us to see a video now. So this video shows us the last summer camp program that was held by United Academy. This is the graphic design class where the children get to design logos and flyers. You can see them working on their laptops. trying to design even the Cisco logo. You can see that on the screen. This is Sterling Bank logo being designed by a child. So this is a program that we organize for our kids, just as we're talking about exposing children to technology and the possibilities that are in the tech space. We also take it upon ourselves to provide a platform that allows these children to explore these possibilities and also harness their skills. So this is a robotic class. You can see the kids trying to sort out the parts of the robots. See how inquisitive they are, trying to find out what's in the bag, just so they can begin to fit them in. That's the robotic class. You can see the robots, the configuration is being done on the system. And that's the robot on the floor. It's moving already. Yes. Isn't it amazing to know what these children can do with the knowledge they get from such opportunities and programs? This is the Scratch programming class where they get to build games. That's the game development class. That's a child trying to put in the codes in the laptop and the music. For the game development. So I believe we can also give our children the opportunity to be exposed to such level of knowledge. You never can tell. Just like our panelists have said, you may not know just how much they can do until you allow them to explore. So let's listen to testimonials.
Hello, my name is Adam Alassane. So I learned about how to program the robots and also to corral to know the rental for store. And I've also learned about drawing a design of your shirt. And I thank my teacher so much for helping me. My name is Sinoda Okoro. I learned that we can use colors to design our clothes, our shoes, our bag, logos, birthday bag, and Valentine invitation. And I feel very happy and also want to thank our teachers very much. Thank you. And I learned that on Coral Draw you can design many things like logos, flyers, your clothes, and shoes. And on Scratch I learned how to make short animated stories, and I learned how to create.
I had a very nice and fun experience with them. It was a fun and enjoyable time. And the feedback I got from them was that this summer program or this summer training made them to, let's say, think and explore into things that they might not have been able to do before. So because of what they were doing, like Corel Draw, it made them kickstart their designing mind, and for Scratch they have to bring in the analytic part of their brain have to kick in so that they can be able to program and do things effectively.
We have a next video.
Do your kids love playing games or spending time on the internet? Why not channel that interest into something lucrative with our Text for Kids training, dedicated especially to grooming Africa's next game changers? Your kids will learn the basics of Scratch for gaming, Python for designing web applications, and JavaScript for web development. Classes are virtual and fully interactive, and be rest assured that your kids will learn in a fun and interactive way. Sign up today and let us unearth the hidden gem in your kids.
Video. So you also have the opportunity to allow your children experience STEM. We'll be having a few free trainings coming up on the 5th and 12th of November 2022. You can do well to use the opportunity to let your children get these skills. We have different aspects of coding classes for varying ages, and they will get to work on a project afterwards. So why not seize this opportunity? Contact us. You get a contact and a mail in the chat room. You can check the chats for the contact and the email address where you can reach us if you are interested in any of our packages. It's a free program, so why shouldn't you be interested? Get your kids to be part of the coding classes and let them work on projects, just so you see how much they can do with the knowledge we made available to them. So thank you so much. At this point, we'd like to welcome final comments from the parents and other participants before we bring the webinar to a close. Don't forget to take the contact and the email in the chat. Do we have final comments? Okay, so a parent wants to know, please, after the free program, what next for the kids? Okay, we have paid classes. After the free program, this is just for 2 weekends, 5th and 12th. We have other classes afterwards, Python, coding, whatever class you want to have for your kid. AI, we have all of those classes, but they are paid. Yes, you have to pay for them. It's different from the free version for the class. And the coding class for the kids goes for 25,000 naira. Do we have other questions and comments? I believe I have answered that question, Ma. Do we have any other question? Okay. I don't think we have any other. Okay, I'll just go ahead then. So at this point, before we bring this to a close, I'd like to again welcome our panelists to give us their concluding remarks on the program. Mrs. Omobola Olawibe will go first.
Thank you, Gloria. So my closing remark will be this. How do we take children from the place of unknown to the place of known? I will state technology. However, in using technology, there is something that we all need to be aware of, is the fact that we cannot just leave children to, begin to explore by themselves without guiding them as to the dangers of what it is that's ahead. In as much as technology is really, really good, the downside to it cannot be ignored. It cannot be ignored. Therefore, parents, caregivers, teachers, schools, whoever is the adult in charge of these children. Remember, we define children as ages of 0 to 18 all over the world. That's what it is. we need to be mindful of some certain things. There needs to be monitoring in place, there needs to be protection in place, and there needs to be limitations to these things. Limitations because children can go wild surfing the internet. Even some start off really right, they're trying to build things, they're trying to change things, but they derail along the line. Hence, monitoring is very, very important. We need to also protect the minds of the children, and so monitor them, speak to them about the dangers of what lies ahead. And last but not the least, modeling. Modeling is very, very important. Children do not listen to us, they do what we are doing. Therefore, we cannot be doing A and the children is looking at us doing A, and we are telling them that no, they cannot do A, do B instead. So modeling is very, very important. So with these few points of mine, I hope I've been able to state my case that technology, as beautiful as it is, also has its downside. But however the case might be, it is a beautiful thing to explore, and that is what is going to take us from the place of unknown to known. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much, ma'am. So it's important that we put in place parental guidance, control, and protection. And very importantly is modeling. We must ensure that we are modeling the right things to them. Thank you so very much. Let's now have Madam Joy Bewaji give concluding remarks. Thank you. Madam Joy Bewaji, please, if you can hear me.
Yeah, they just unmuted me. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes, please, we can.
Okay. So, closing remarks. I feel have a relationship with your children. Have a relationship with your children. Have very sincere conversations with your children. Ask them if they like what Nigeria is. Ask them what they like about the country, what they would wish for Africa, how they feel as Black people. Have these conversations. If you see what's going on the internet, bring it home. Bring the conversation home. Why is Kanye West losing $2 billion? What are his weaknesses? Have conversations with your children. Look at people that are succeeding. Look at people that are not succeeding. Bring the conversations to your home. Talk about it. Open their minds to see. I mean, they are still going to have flaws like every human being, but at least minimal flaws, so that they don't get to the top and then they start to struggle with problems, addictions, and all the other holes that probably you did not attend to. So have a relationship with your child. Believe in your child. Believe 100% in the ability of your child to have a good life. Present parenting with dignity. Don't pay for them to pass. Allow them to fail if they have to fail, and get up and do it again. Don't be corrupt. Don't be indecent. Don't cover yourself in religion when you are something else. They see all of these things. They know what's going on. Be your authentic self. They would accept you in your authenticity because you are still a human being. Be authentic. Be their inspiration. Be their inspiration. Let them see that when my mother says this is going to happen, she's going to do everything to make it happen. Let them see that you have your own life and they have their own life. Let them respect who you are, because the things that you lay down is respectable, and you do a lot of things with total confidence, and you do it with your chest. So I feel like we can have very confident children in the future if we just stop being so pretentious, the African pretension. Just present the world to them as it should be. Allow them to make mistakes sometimes. Let them learn from it. Build them with dignity, and please introduce them to technology. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. Amazing concluding remark. Also buttressing the aspect of modeling. bringing dignity to parenting, being their inspiration, and very importantly, have a relationship with your kids. Have conversations on what you desire from them or what your expectations are, and they should not be imposed. It should be a conversation, and then you can agree on what works for them. So thank you very much, Madam Joy Bewaji. Thank you so much, Mrs. Omobola Olawibibe. Thank you. We are happy to have you, and we've learned a lot this afternoon. So finally, it's a wrap. Thank you, finalists, for your time, your insights and inputs, and for making our time worthwhile. We want to also say a big thank you to our parents and participants at large. We appreciate you, and we believe that you have taken something meaningful from this meeting today. We look forward to engaging with you on several other ways. Thank you also to United Academy for putting this together. Now we have a feedback form in the chat. We appreciate your feedback and we'll take out your responses from this webinar. So do well to please fill the form so we can have those feedbacks and use them to make informed decisions. Thank you so much and do have a beautiful evening, everyone. Thank you.